And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
It's a common expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, what if the horse's mouth is filled with useful insurance tools? This is the exact case with the Geico app. Yes, the app is free and therefore a gift horse. However, look inside the app and behold, emergency roadside assistance, digital ID cards, bill pay. Get the Geico app. Look it in the mouth. Get amazing services. Thank you.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Welcome to episode 352 of the New York Knicks podcast. Jay had his tonsils removed and can't talk, so we're using this voice thing. With me, as always, is Marc.
So I am here. I am hosting with Jay Stephen Hawking here, who will be using his audio text-to-talk thing to do the show with me. If it's a hit, maybe we'll do this every show.
I hate my life.
I don't know what Jay said. I talked over him. I shouldn't talk over the machine.
I hate my life.
Again.
I hate my life.
Awesome. Is that because you can't talk or because you've been watching the Knicks? He's really slow at this also. So
both.
It's like both. Okay. I have to give a nice pause to so we had a bunch of things happen. We'll cover a bunch of topics, a bunch of questions. It'll be a lot of me talking like most shows, and Jay will once in a while talk like most shows, except he's going to sound like a robot, and I'm going to make fun of his ass the entire show. And just to let you know, he claims I've had his tonsils out or whatever. I think he was blowing some dude and it went wrong, and I think that's why he can't talk. Is that right, Jay? Be silent for a second.
Adenoids.
There's something or other. He can't talk. Apparently, growing up, the 80s sitcoms lied to us because apparently getting your tonsils out is pretty goddamn brutal as an adult. And apparently you can't really talk.
All the lies.
Lies. Goddamn lies. Anyway, so a bunch of things happened in Knicks world. Or maybe nothing really happened. So the Knicks played the Celtics. And I think we learned a lot from the game. What did you learn, Jay? Faster, Jay. Faster!
So much.
Okay, that's great. So the Knicks played well on offense, horrible on defense, and the big takeaway to the game revolved around the bench. The bench played a lot, and we saw a lot out of Kuz and Hernan Gomez. Jay, are you excited about those two guys?
Big Willie.
Is that what you're taking in your mouth right now, or is that who you're excited about?
KO is in trouble.
So I have to say, the more I watch these guys, the more excited I'm getting about the Knicks' future. I don't know how good they're going to be this year. I don't think that – well, they're not winning a title. That's pretty much a fact. Actually, we'll talk about this in a second. They did a survey of all the GMs in the NBA. And while majority of them think the Golden State will win the title, which is understandable, 100% of them think it'll either be the Warriors or the Cavaliers. Jay, what do you think about the fact that there are only two teams have a shot at the title? Man, it's slow waiting for a response from him.
Parody.
Yes, parody. I kind of find it really frustrating. That's one thing I love about baseball. I could talk baseball the whole show. And
it's the salary cap issue.
Yes, I find it really frustrating. It really ruins the sport because when Golden State came out of nowhere that one year, that was great, but it doesn't happen that often. And this year, there's a good chance we'll see Golden State play Cleveland again, which I guess is fine, but it also kind of makes what's the point of the entire regular season or the playoffs if the same two teams are almost a lock to make it at the end of the year?
Need a real hard cap.
Yeah, Jay needs a real hard cap. And the NBA needs a real hard cap. It would make the NBA so much better if it was a real hard cap, because you basically couldn't construct a roster that's jam-packed. You'd have to make some hard cuts, and talent would be distributed a little bit better. Right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The Cleveland Cavaliers just gave it a $40 million contract to J.R. Smith. I don't know what's more ridiculous, J.R. Smith getting a $40 million contract, or the fact that they have room. They already have spent $180 billion on their team, and then they still have room to sign J.R., which makes no sense to me. Is that, Jay?
That's
JR,
going to be a terrible contract real fast.
Yeah, that's going to be a terrible contract as soon as the ink is dry. They'll wake up and be like, oh, I'm kind of hungover. Did I just sign J.R. Smith to $50 million or $40 million?
He's already drunk.
I think J.R. Smith just announced his retirement. He's like, I'm going to play out this contract, but I'm going to be at the club the entire contract. I think they're guaranteed that J.R. Smith will not be good the rest of his contract. Not that he's that amazing to begin with. But anyway, I feel like
his new apartment is in the VIP section of the club.
Yes. It doesn't say VIP. Is there any way can you space that out? Try it.
VIP.
Yeah. Very important, J.R. Smith. So anyway, I think this is the problem in the NBA. I think if the NBA wants to stay popular, and I know it's a star-driven league, they need to find a way to make it so it's not the same teams always. And I guess it's been like this for a while, but I feel like it's gotten extra bad. And part of it probably is the fact that LeBron James is so good that no one in the East can seem to challenge him, and now you have this superstar team in the West. What do you think of the argument that
and going $30 million of the cap doesn't help?
Yeah. What do you think of the argument that Draymond Green made that it's just like Silicon Valley? In Silicon Valley, when one executive jumps to another place, if an executive from Apple jumped to Google, no one makes a big stink. So why do they care in the NBA? Kevin Durant just went to work for a competitor's company.
I don't really care.
Really? Because I care, because I don't understand how you could be a multimillionaire like Draymond Green is and not understand the goddamn differences between Apple and Google and NBA basketball teams. It's not even remotely similar.
It seems like he didn't like playing with Russell.
Yeah, which is fine. He didn't like playing with Russell. And I know we've talked about this a lot before, but I find it so frustrating just because Kevin Durant literally had Golden State on the ropes. And he said, hey, you know what would make this better? I'm going to cut the legs out from the only team that has a shot of beating them by joining them.
If there were a real cap, they would have had to cut more players.
Yes, if they had a real cap and if Jay had a real voice, this would go better. Yes, Stephen Hawking, you are
this
right.
This voice is sexier than mine.
Yeah, I feel like you've gotten smarter since you started. Maybe that's the secret. Stephen Hawking became smart when he started having to use that talking box. Do you think Stephen Hawking
probably
talks
the key?
Do you think he talks dirty to his lady using that? Talk dirty to me, Jay. Come on, Jay. Come on, Jay. Make
you
me hard.
sexy pig.
Yeah, come on. What kind of? Tell me more, Jay. Tell me, what would you do to me if I was Larry Bird? What would you say?
Get the handcuffs.
So anyway, league needs parity. They have to do something about it. It's hard. I don't know if the hard cap would solve it completely, but I think it would make things better because teams have to make tough cuts. I also think Kevin Durant, whatever argument you want to give, it's a little bit of bullshit when you go to you go to your closest competitor and ensure they're going to win the title the next year. But whatever, not the same thing as Apple. Moving on, let's talk about the Knicks.
I admit it was a little cheesy.
Yeah, it's a little cheesy. The only thing more cheesy would have been if he did it mid-series. If he was like, oh, hey, I know the playoffs. I know we're actually playing this team tonight, but I'm just going to switch teams right now.
NWO.
Actually, in Silicon Valley, if you switch, it doesn't matter if you switch in mid-game. Maybe Kevin Durant should be allowed to call timeouts during games and switch teams depending on how the game is going. That way, throughout the whole season, he can go 82-0 because she just switches teams in the fourth quarter so that whatever team's going to win.
You get a raise if you do that in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, in Silicon Valley, people would say, that's great. Well, we're gonna give you extra money to join the team to help slam dunk the iPhone 8 or 9. Kevin Durant, great idea. Remove the screen and make the iPhone just a rock. Wonderful idea. And you get a raise. And we'll do the same thing in the NBA. So anyway, Knicks played the Celtics. Jay, so I was saying before, I'm excited about the team's future. Are you getting excited about the team's future? Why are you excited about the team's future in 100 words or more? Man, you
A
type
lot
slow.
of young guys for once.
Yes, Jay gets excited about young guys. What about, could you just call them young boys? Say you get excited about young boys?
I type fast, but it has to load too.
Oh, yeah, Jay has to take a load too. I'm going to make terrible jokes throughout the whole show. I am getting excited.
I hate you.
I feel like Kuz, and from watching them, so Kuz and Billy Hernan-Gomez, both of them don't play a lot of defense. Kuz is slightly, but neither of them are very good at defense right now.
Not many on this team do.
No. I mean, basically, the guys that play defense on this team are Noah, Courtney Lee, and then we're done with defense.
KP.
But who else?
KP.
Oh, yeah, KP plays D. Obviously, KP plays D. By the way, in this game, KP strained his groin. They said he's fine. No issue. If he was injured, Jay and I might do a show where we kill ourselves.
Courtney Lee plays D.
That would be an awful way. But anyway.
Courtney Lee plays D.
Who plays D?
Courtney Lee plays D.
I said Courtney Lee. Pay attention, voice box. And Ron Baker actually played some defense also. If they cut Ron Baker, I'd be so pissed. I feel like what has to happen is the Knicks have to make every possible effort to trade Kyle O'Quinn, and when they can't get even a freaking like ham sandwich for Kyle O'Quinn, then they got to cut Endor.
We had our first long-time injury.
Yes.
Term.
Yes. What were you going to say?
Term.
Long-term. It's not a. What do you mean long-term injury? Randall broke his face. He's out for like 4 weeks.
Yes.
I don't know how that affects I don't know how that affects the roster in the sense of, can they put him on like the injured list? Do you have any idea? Can you put him on the injured list for 4 weeks and then cut someone after?
He has partially guarantee.
No, I know. I'm asking like, can you not have to cut anyone?
So we'd have to pay him anyway.
Well, I don't give a shit about James Dolan's money. I'm just saying the issue really is who gets cut. And can you wait till the guy's done with 4 weeks, being injured for 4 weeks before you cut someone? Or do you have to cut someone now?
Now.
God damn it, Jay. Okay.
15 entering season.
What a dumb fucking rule. If they're going to cut someone now, I say they cut Endor. What do you think? I mean, I would say they cut Sasha. They're not going to cut Sasha. And I have to say, Sasha didn't look that bad against the Celtics. I'm not saying he's not garbage, but he didn't look that bad. He's hitting some. He's been shooting a lot better. His defense still pretty much sucks, but he's played well enough that I feel like he's pretty much earned a spot on the roster. Do you agree?
Fuck
Disagree?
Sasha.
Yes, I know you want to fuck Sasha, but what about actually how do you think he'll be good on the team?
No.
Did you watch this game?
He's terrible.
He didn't look terrible. He didn't look horrible. I don't think Sasha is. I think he's a negative on the court, but I don't think he's such a negative that they're going to cut him. He's not getting cut.
Don't care. He sucks.
Endor should be cut. Endor. Everyone keeps going on about how good Endor is, and like he had such a good he had such a good preseason last year. Or people keep getting it. All Endor did last year was had one good summer league game. If you look back at the stats, he had one really good summer league game, one mediocre one. Everyone's got excited about him from that one game. He's not that good. Endor can't guard
one
anyone.
game, then hype for a year.
Yeah, he was hyped for way too long. I'm not sure. He's a very athletic guy. I just don't see what he does. He's never going to develop into a good NBA player. I cannot see it. He's athletic, but he's not necessarily like – he doesn't look like he can play defense very well or offense very well. He was on the court. He's been given a lot of minutes and has just sucked this preseason.
Energy guy, but no outstanding skills.
Yeah. I feel like they call a guy an energy guy when he's not good enough to really play. Like, oh, he's an energy guy, which probably means he'll get like 5 fouls in 12 seconds and just be a total negative on the roster. I would say I'd prefer to cut Kyle O'Quinn because I think Kyle O'Quinn is a complete disaster. But if you're not going to cut Kyle O'Quinn, Endor's the next guy to go. To me, I think Admonson and Dakota, whatever his name is, they have to be cut. I can't fathom how dumb of a signing Lou Admonson was.
Not cutting a guy with 3 years left on the contract.
Well, I know they're not cutting Kyle Quinn, okay? But Lou Admonson, they guaranteed his contract. The next competing offer was the unemployment line, and they're going to cut him like a month later. This guy's going to get paid, what is it, $400,000 or $500,000 to play for the Knicks for 1 month, in which he'd even appear in any games.
The Knicks are a charity organization.
I think actually it's probably more. How much do you think a veteran gets? Isn't the veteran's minimum like $1 million?
$700,000.
So he's going to get $700,000. Jay, what would you have to do? Like, what would you do for $700,000? Would you literally murder a member of the opposition?
That was before the big jump. Probably 90 now.
Okay. Jay, actually, I think you would agreed on our Brink of Sanity show to change your name to Ass Muncher for $700,000. And all Lou Admonson had to do was show up for a month and practice.
Not fair.
It is not fair. That is an insane amount of money to get for a month's work. He will be cut, and probably he'll play somewhere else for the rest of the year and get paid there also. If the Knicks are willing, I'm willing to show up for practice for half that. I give a 50% discount from what Lou Admonson did. I'll show up for a month also.
He might be out of league.
Yeah, I think he's out of the league. I think once you kick off from the Knicks, you don't get back in the league. But I think Ron Baker looked good enough that you can't cut him. And I think Chase and Randall shown enough that you can't cut him. And we're also so thin at the guard. We have the roster's mostly bigs. How are we so short at the center position?
Baker stays. Randall to Kodo is gone.
You think Randall's gone? Randall's not gone. Even with breaking his face. Okay. Dakota's gone, right?
Dakota.
Could you say Dakota 5 times fast?
No.
Come on. Can you talk sexy? Can you talk dirty to Dakota? Tell Dakota what you want to do with him.
Hey, Dakota.
You want to hate on him? What else do you want to do to him? Do you want to touch his thigh?
I want you to take your jersey off.
Yeah.
And go home.
Kyle O'Quinn, I don't understand why he insists on shooting the ball from 3 or 20 foot out. I think it would be fair if the Knicks would give him electric shocks every time he shot the ball from more than 10 feet away from the basket. He has no outside shot. It is painful. It's like he gets obsessed with the shooting from the outside.
Or from anywhere.
I hate Kyle O'Quinn. He plays no. The thing is, all the young guys, Kuz, Hernan Gomez, you can forgive a lack of defense. Even Endo, you can forgive a lack of defense because the guys are new to the league. Kyle O'Quinn's been playing in the league for a while. He is garbage on defense, and his offense doesn't make it worth having him out there. Orlando had it correctly. You play the guy for 5 minutes the entire season and then trade him. That's what you do.
Trash defense.
He's not good. He cannot be our backup center. He's our backup center. You might as well just be like throwing the games away. I think they should replace his uniform. Instead of wearing a Knicks uniform, he should wear a white flag when he goes to the games.
Plumlee is better than I thought.
Yeah, I like Plumlee, so I can't cut Plumlee. I'd make my backup centers here are Plumlee and Hernan Gomez. I'd rather die. Plumlee didn't even look that bad on defense. I'd rather die or have the Knicks lose with Plumlee and Hernan Gomez in the games and getting good experience and getting better versus playing wasting minutes on Kylo Quinn murders me. It's awful. I like our future. There are some pieces here. Obviously, KP, I love. I feel like Hernan Gomez, his hands are great. He looks like he's more athletic than I expected. He looks like a guy that can really add something on offense. And I feel like he's young. He's 21. He'll get better at defense. Kuz, same thing. The guy hustles. He drives to the basket. I feel like he also will get better on defense. Even though Kuz is a little bit older, I'm very excited about these guys. I feel like 3 or 4 years from now, this will be a very interesting core the Knicks can build around. Plus, Ron Baker didn't look bad. He looks like a very decent role player. He looks like he could be as good as Langston Galloway. What do you think about that? Holy shit, man. We contribute to the
Site crashed.
What did you say?
Site crashed.
Site crashed, yeah. I feel like Baker can contribute in the future. I feel like Chase and Randall. Let's see what Baker and Chase and Randall can do, but they could be interesting pieces. I'm not saying, hey, we're going to win the title with this team, but I like the idea that they're building something. I have to give Phil a lot of credit because I am surprised how good some of these young guys look, at least initially. And I have no idea how they look during the regular season.
We already know what KO gives us.
Yeah, he gives us all heartburn. That's what he gives us. Also, have you liked what you've seen from Jennings? I have to say Jennings...
Yeah, except his shooting.
His shooting has never been very good, but he does a good job of creating on offense. I have to say he has very good court awareness. I have been very impressed how he's been setting up his teammates. I don't know when Derrick Rose is back from his rape trial, but I would say I wouldn't hesitate to start the season with Jennings as your starter and Rose off the bench until Rose gets more in the mix.
Passing has looked nice.
Yeah. I think Jennings has looked. His speed has been great. I mean, having a fast point guard that can penetrate, it's like a breath of fresh air. I mean, I'm just so used to Jose Calderon dribbling up. I mean, passing the ball, dribbling up as slow as humanly possible, then just throwing it in and just being out of the play the rest of the time. Just having a guy who can actually really create offense is amazing. And it'll be really interesting that when Derrick Rose is back. I'm getting excited about this team. I feel like their team is not that bad, actually. Even though
it was a struggle to pass half court with our old point guards.
Yeah. I mean, Felton actually was better about it than Calderon, but Felton was garbage also.
Ugh.
It should be. Are you concerned at all that we've had, is this our fourth or this is our third preseason game, and we've yet to have our starting lineup on the floor?
A little nervous.
It doesn't set a good trend for the season that we can't in the 3 weeks of preseason, we can't get the 5 starters on the court at the same time. I don't know if this is going to be a trend, even though it certainly looks like it might be.
We're supposed to get injured in regular season.
Yeah, let's wait for the regular season to get injured. No getting injured right now. Who are you more excited about, Kuz or Hernan Gomez?
Big Willie.
Big Willie. I thought Kuz looked pretty good. I was impressed with him also. I feel like he's a solid.
His defense sucks though.
Oh, Hernan Gomez defense might as well not be on the court during playing defense. Hernan Gomez sucks on defense.
It's real bad.
I mean, I feel like when the other team does a pick and roll, it's like introducing calculus to Hernan Gomez. He's like, I don't know. You know what also just kills me? Just to go on a little, Carmelo's great. I want to qualify this by saying Carmelo is the reason we win ball games. And I know, and I'm not even talking about his inefficiency. His defense, sometimes on defense, and this happened a couple times during the Celtics game, where you're watching a play and you're like, oh, hey, there was a breakdown. How did that guy get so open? And you rewind a little bit and you find out the reason the guy was so open is Carmelo, instead of covering, say, his man, covered whoever he felt like covering. He ran to the ball instead of staying on his guy, and then the Knicks have to like close out, have guys just wide open shooting threes against them. I wish Melo would, I don't know, use a little more energy on defense. Might make the team a lot better.
He just covers the closet guy.
The closet guy? I wonder what that
Closest.
means. No, you said closet. I understand what you're trying to say.
Fuck you.
So Closet J, he does it so often. It's just like sometimes I feel like everyone else is covering man and Carmelo's playing zone. They just haven't discussed this. One thing also Noah does, which I do really like, is Noah shouts at everyone on defense and gives the team shit for not playing defense. I like the fact that he barks at everyone. It's very Tyson Chandler-esque, and I feel like it'll be very helpful for the season.
We need that.
Yes, we need someone talking about defense. Also, just another takeaway from this game is the Celtics look really good. I mean, they look really deep. I feel like the Celtics...
They're top 3 in the East.
Yeah, I feel like they have a very decent chance of being the number 2 seed. I don't know. They look really good. I mean, but they're kind of... If what's his name? If Al Horford can just keep hitting threes, he's pretty hard to guard. Horford went out for threes, and Noah's like, "You're not going to hit those." Then he hit a couple, and Noah's like, "Oh, god damn it, I have to cover you out there."
Well, the Knicks hate to cover the 3.
I don't understand what it is, but it doesn't matter who you put on the Knicks. The Knicks have had different rosters every season, and the only things they've had in common is Carmelo Anthony and a complete inability to cover the three-point shot. I mean, if you drank every time the Knicks challenged a three-point shot, you'd be dead. You'd be stone cold sober at the end of a game.
Yup.
Anyway, yeah, that was a great contribution. You took a while to type that. What do you think of Justin Holiday?
Not bad.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, the bench, all the guys on the bench look like guys that can be solid role players. The only
I
ones I
thought
feel
he
like
was going to be trash.
who's going to be trash?
Holiday.
Oh, you think he's going to be trash or not going to be trash?
I thought he was.
Okay, that was good.
But he looks okay now.
He looks okay now. I am not. I think of this roster. Holiday. A lot of guys are very much role players. With the only guys that have a chance to go beyond role players are Hernan Gomez and Kuz. And Sasha will be the guy that makes us angry all year. But he's on the roster. He's here for good, and he's our backup point guard because at all times either Jennings or Rose will not be suited up for most games. One of the guys will miss like half the game, so it'll be an issue.
Let's go to questions.
Let's go to questions. Okay. Actually, there's one other thing I want to talk about. So Carmelo Anthony was talking about how he wanted to develop the D League. And he wants to make it a part of the collective bargaining agreement to make the D League much more, rebrand the D League and build it up more. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
That was a very helpful contribution. I have to say, I think every team should have
Every team should have an affiliate.
It's insane not to, and it's also insane that half the guys in your D League team, like the Westchester Knicks, the Knicks only hold the contracts for like only if they send a guy there, they have any rights to the guy. You still like someone else can sign a guy off your D League team. I think you should get a whole team to develop. You get 15 guys in the D League team. You could send guys back and forth, and you could actually develop a roster. The Knicks should have 30 guys in the roster, not 15. 15 guys on the professional team, 15 guys in the D League, and be able to go back and forth. That would be really interesting. It'd be much more fun
Agreed.
to go. I'd go see Westchester games if like really guys were if guys could actually be called up to the Knicks, and that would happen a lot. And you know what also kills me is like if you remember when like Amari Stoudemire came back from injury, one of his 800 injuries, and you'd have to put him back on the court and have him work out his rust during NBA games, which always kill the Knicks. And anytime a guy works out injuries on the court in an NBA game, it really hurts the team. But the guy's got to get back into NBA shape. It'd be great if they can go down for a week or two and play in the D League and get – every other sport does this. In baseball, you come back from an injury, you spend time in the minor leagues, get the rust off, and then you return to the majors, you're ready to play. In the NBA, God forbid a star player actually goes to the D League for 2 weeks and gets back in shape.
I hope this happens.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea. I think it'd be a wonderful idea. I like this much better than Melo's push to have Ninja Turtles in every home. So I'm down with this. Go Carmelo. I like his. I haven't really been following his activism, but I like this activism, the D League stuff. Have you been following his activism, Jay? Do you think Melo can bring peace to the world?
Nope.
Okay. And the other thing, they had rankings that kind of came out about continuity. I have trouble saying this word twice. Can you say continuity, Jay? Can you spell continuity?
I speak better.
Can you spell it? Let's find
Continuity.
out. Okay. Say it again.
Continuity.
Okay, fine. You could spell. Ooh, I know how to spell. Anyway, the 3 worst teams on continuity, basically, with just turnover on the roster, are the Nets, the Lakers, and the Knicks. Everyone kind of knew that.
Philly.
Philly's pretty bad also. But Philly's not as bad. Philly was ranked 22nd. But
Wow.
I did not know this. Basketball Reference has a continuity page, and it's based on percentage of minutes from players that are on the previous season's team.
How is Philly only 22nd?
What did you say? I wish I knew when
How
to
is
pause.
Philly only 22nd?
How are they only 22nd? I don't know. That's how they are. So last year, the Knicks had 42% of their minutes from players who are on the team the previous season. That was the worst in the NBA. The year before, the Knicks had 39%. That was second worst in the NBA. Actually tied with Cleveland, which is weird. Actually, it was Dallas actually was worse, and Philly at 29% was the worst. Actually, that's interesting. Cleveland at 39%, but I guess that's when they add LeBron.
Cleveland
and all the other
gutted the
players.
team to get LeBron.
LeBron? Oh, what's his name? What's his name? What's a LeBron? LeBron?
LeBron.
Okay. LeBron. I wonder who LeBron is.
LeBron.
Can you say Durant?
LeBron.
How'd you get to say LeBron? Good job. Anyway,
Bron.
if you go to a Basketball Reference, I mean, nothing surprising here, but basically since 2010, the Knicks have been horrible at continuity. It's everyone, you kind of knew this, but basically every year the roster turns over. They have been, over the last 5 years, the worst team in the NBA as far as continuity. The Nets have been pretty goddamn awful also, and that probably reflects the fact that both teams have been pretty goddamn awful. I'm hoping going forward this improves greatly. I feel like the only way to really build a good team is either LeBron decides to bless you with his presence on his team, or you start having continuity, and that should happen to some respect if a lot of our bench players, hopefully Hernan Gomez, Kuz, hopefully a lot of these guys are back next year, and we could really start to build something instead of handing out name tags every year at preseason. Okay, we got some questions.
If they
Jay,
don't learn D, they will be gone.
If they what?
If they don't learn D, they will be gone.
No, that's not how it works in the Knicks. If you don't learn D, that means you play big minutes.
True.
Okay, so Jay, you want to read the questions?
Nope.
Come on, Jay, pull your weight. Come on, Jay, just read a couple questions.
Nope.
I coughed into the mic. Anyway, Peter writes, emails. Hi, guys. Just wanted to drop an email to show some appreciation for all the work you do on this podcast. Being a huge Knicks fan from the UK, this podcast fills the void left by the lack of interest my mates have for the sport. I'm looking forward to see how KP does coming off his rookie year and what wacky nonsense Jennings gets up to. Once again, keep up the great work. I always look forward to listening to the new episodes. Thank you, Peter. Jay, what do you think about?
Thanks, Peter.
What do you think about our point guard, the Riddler? Or Joker? What do you think about Brandon Jennings? You like his sass?
Yeah.
Your contributions, I feel like you could type more than the word yeah or no. When they did your tonsil surgery, did they remove your fingers? Are you typing with what's left over of your tonsils?
Then you have to wait and then start complaining.
Well, I'm going to complain either way, but you could type a little more, Jay. I mean, come on. Work a little harder.
I don't like you.
I know you shouldn't. But you can type a little faster. You know, that's one of those skills that's very important. At work, do they have to wait for you for typing? You know, maybe instead of doing your CFA exam, you should work on your typing skills. That might get you ahead. And don't you hate the fact that it's going to take you a while to respond?
Maybe a new career choice.
Okay. We got some questions on Twitter. We got Jorge writes, what NBA awards do you see Kate Porzy winning in his career? I see him winning Defensive Player of the Year. I have to say, I would be so excited if he won Defensive Player of the Year. That would be an amazing. He looks like he could be a very solid defender. If he gets to the level where he's Defensive Player of the Year, the Knicks are going to be in a really good place.
That would be so amazing.
Really, you couldn't add more than. So instead of saying yeah, you say now, that would be amazing. Can't you develop? I want a little more color from you. Come on, work on this, Jay. So what awards do you think you should KP's
Marc, when
win?
I can move again, I'm going to choke you.
You know what's a good thing, though? If you try to choke me, if I start winning,
Good one.
my wife just texted me something, and I got interrupted. I'm trying to read the text and talk, and I can't even.
Multitasking. Focus.
I don't even know what she sent me. She sent me password.
Oh my God.
I know what she's doing. She needs new music on her phone, and so I'm interrupting the show to read her
Oh, cool. Glad we covered that.
It's important stuff. I should have said, hang on, I'm going to read this. If Jay, you could just talk a little bit. So I feel like the awards I see him winning, I would say the first award he'll get, it's not going to happen this season, but I see the first thing him doing is second team All NBA. That's my first award I predict for him. And I predict league MVP. Why the hell not? I don't know how many awards. I would say second team All NBA, then first team All NBA. I don't know if we're gonna get MVP out of him, but I can dream.
Second team All NBA and All Defense.
Yeah, that'd be pretty solid. Gucci Jean writes, thoughts on Melo's comments on his essay, Sports Illustrated top 50 rank. I believe he's actually made the comments about his Slam magazine ranks, not his Sports Illustrated, but it doesn't even matter. Apparently, he was ranked 14th by Slam magazine, and he had a problem with that or made some comment about it. I think Sports Illustrated put him like 21st.
That's pretty damn high.
I mean, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit where he's ranked? You know what you should say? Oh, you think I'm 21st? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play so well that you're going to eat your goddamn words.
He's 32 and he's ranked in the top 20.
Yeah, good for him. I don't give a shit about the ranking thing. And I really think if you're going to tweet about it or you're going to talk trash to Sports Illustrated or talk trash to Slam Magazine, do it after the season after you prove them wrong.
Play defense stupid.
Yeah, play stupid defense. Is that what you're trying to say, or you wanted to play actual defense? You should get the thing to do like a pause, like a comma before it says the word stupid.
Inflection is off.
Yeah. Jay, I think we're going to replace you with this thing. Gucci Chief also writes, do you think the media is putting too much pressure on Porzingis?
Not really.
Okay, cool. Jay contributes to 2 words. Not really. Thank you, Jay. I would say I'm not that worried.
They aren't setting unrealistic expectation.
I think the fact that the roster now is filled with so many players that the media is going to be talking about, I'm not really worried about too much pressure being put on him. We have Rose, we have Noah, we have a lot of guys the media is going to focus on, and a lot of guys to take the pressure away from him. And last year, there was a lot of pressure on him. He seemed to do fine with the pressure. So he's an adult. He'll be fine. Gucci Sheen also writes, Chase and Randall out 3 to 4 weeks. Why can't we catch a break? Injury gods. That's kind of annoying, but he's only going to miss the first few weeks of the season, assuming he's on the roster. I don't think this is a big deal. What do you think?
Better now than later.
No, not big deal. Better
now than later.
Yes. Good, Jay. I like that. A little different sentence. Good job. NCK writes, who do we need or who should we get if we trade Kyle O'Quinn? So what can we get for Kyle O'Quinn? Here's the question. Is it possible to get a second-round pick for him?
He has a very low contract.
Yeah, I feel like the issue is the team most likely to trade for Kyle O'Quinn already has him. So you have to find a team.
Best we can hope for is a second-rounder.
I don't know if we can get a second-rounder for him. I don't know if anyone... I guess he has enough skill that I feel like another team might take a chance on him. Maybe the 76ers. They always are looking for more power forwards. I don't know who else would want him, but
the Magic.
I would gladly take the 60th pick in the draft to get rid of him. I just want to get rid of his contract, free the roster spot up. I would trade him for a Donald Trump and Mike Pence 2016 T-shirt. That would be
refund him to the Magic.
Trade. You think the Magic would take him back?
Refund him to the Magic.
Dear Magic, we signed your Kyle O'Quinn player. I believe the New York State's lemon laws cover the fact that we don't have to keep him. He does not work properly. Defective goods. We don't need our money back, but get him but get him off our goddamn team, please. Signed, Knicks fans. Steven writes, not the normal Steven, but an actual new Steven says, will Carmelo revert to being a ball movement black hole? So I feel like he did some
worst
ISO.
Case scenario.
Scenario. You're gonna sing the song Scenario? Here we go.
Worst case scenario.
Tell me the scenario. Oh, likely scenario.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. Can you sing the song Scenario by A Tribe Called Quest? Come on, just type
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo.
So what's the... Can we spend the rest of the show playing Mad Libs with you?
So what's the scenario?
I would say at times he'll revert, but I think with the point guards and all the other players in this team, I think there's a good chance the ball moves a lot. I think he's going to hold the ball less. I have hope. Liam writes, surely Kuz's big game against Boston puts him in the frame as Melo's backup. Love Thomas, but Kuz looks like a prospect. Yes and no. I feel like Thomas still has a very strong role in this team because we didn't mention before, but Lance Thomas plays defense. There aren't that many guys that play defense on this team. Lance Thomas is going to get minutes every game. Jay is going to apologize to Lance Thomas every game.
Never again.
Say you're sorry to Lance Thomas.
Never again.
Say it. Say it. Type it. I wish I was over at your place. I could force you to say stuff.
He's not good.
I should actually open mine up, and I should open this thing on my computer and pretend you're saying good things. I should be like, oh, I love you, Lance Thomas. I want to take off your shirt and touch your man boobs. Lance Thomas, I feel like especially with the second units, you're going to want him out there because you're going to need the added defense. You're going to need him to be able to stop the other team's 3 or the other team's 2. We're going to need Lance Thomas. As excited as I am about Kuz and excited about Hernan Gomez, when those guys are on the court, you're going to have some other guys that can play defense or else we're screwed. Nicholas writes, you got to admit the defense looked good for some long stretches. I guess he's talking about the Celtics game, and the Celtics scored like 120 points. So I'm not sure what stretches he's talking about. The Celtics scored a ton of goddamn points. You have to hold the team below 25 points in a quarter. 25 is I would say a good quarter is 20 points or less.
I must have missed those stretches.
Yeah, the Knicks look good. The defense looked good for like short spurts, but the Celtics scored. I watched the game. There would be 1 or 2 plays where the Knicks looked good on defense, but the Celtics shot like 60%. We did nothing to stop them. There were a lot of positive takeaways, but if this was a regular season game, you would just said the Knicks sucked. But the fact that the game didn't count and you weren't as concerned by the actual outcome, it was an okay game. But like, you cannot give up so many. 2 of the quarters they gave up over 30 points. They got crushed. 119 points is a ridiculous amount of points to give up. So I like a lot of what I've seen, and I'm cautiously optimistic about this team. And the Celtics look really good, but the defense has a long way to go. And I think a lot has to do with developing chemistry and a lot of the young guys. What do you think is a bigger jump in the NBA, playing offense or playing defense when you get here? What's harder?
Defense.
Could you actually do like they do at like football games and go defense?
Defense.
Do it again. Come on, chant it.
Defense.
Come on, louder. Can you make it louder? Okay. I would say defense is harder.
Defense.
Why do you keep repeating yourself? God damn it.
Defense.
I think it's going to take Kuz and Hernan Gomez a while to really get up to NBA speed on defense. Defenses can be the Celtics, they run complicated offense. They run a lot of pick and rolls. They do a lot on offense. There's a lot of ball movement. It's going to be tough it's going to take a while before this team really gels on defense. And I think the team will look better later in the year, but we may have some rough outings on defense initially with some of these players. That is all the questions on Twitter. Let's do the questions on Facebook. And Jay also right now is really wondering to himself how he can't even talk, and yet the show has gone on way too long for him already. Right, Jay?
I'm hurting.
Q writes, do you think it better to have Willie Hernan Gomez over O'Quinn as our backup center? Also, do you think Kuz will actually have a role in this team? This question was asked prior to the Celtics game, and I think it's pretty goddamn clear Kuz and Hernan Gomez will have solid roles in this team. And it's pretty clear that Kyle O'Quinn sucks. Peter writes, since we have a pick this year, where do you think we'll land in the draft, and which forward will be inevitably draft? I guess we're going to land upper teens, maybe number 20.
Upper teens sounds right.
And we'll probably draft someone that we will trade away like the next year, hopefully they'll keep adding. I am really hopeful that as this team eventually transitions away from the veterans, because eventually Melo will get old. Hopefully they'll have a young core to build on. And at the same time, KP will be emerging as a star in this league, and we'll have a lot. Having draft picks going forward is going to make a big difference. Peter also writes, is there any point guards on the market we could plausibly trade anything for?
We'll draft another power forward because Knicks.
Yes. I'm going to say we probably should work on Brandon Jennings and Derrick Rose right now, and possibly developing Randall and Baker, and not worry about who's on the market because it doesn't matter right now. We also had a couple other questions.
We don't have enough to trade for a good Peliant guard.
Unless you're trading draft picks, we don't have enough to trade. So, Andrew writes, what are you most excited to see in this upcoming NBA season, not necessarily involving the Knicks, but the NBA in general? So what things are you most excited to see about non-Knicks related?
New teams in the playoffs.
Yes. I'd like to see I'd like to see the Durant Golden State thing not work out. That would be great. I'm going to root for the Knicks this year and root for the Golden State to have a terrible year. I am also excited for. And by the way, Anthony Davis, what happened to him?
Timberwolves, Jazz, and Knicks in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think the Jazz will always disappoint. I don't think the Jazz are going to the playoffs, but I do think the Timberwolves are. And I think the Timberwolves are really pretty good. Anthony Davis, what happened to him?
Davis always injured.
Was he supposed to be league MVP in the future of this league? And now, not so much anymore.
He's
I don't
getting
know.
close to a bust.
I don't know if he's white near, but how is he's injured again, right?
Always.
Always. Let's see. I'm also excited. Yeah, I'm just excited to see NBA games now. I don't know what else I'm excited. I would say I'm excited to see if anyone can finally knock off LeBron. I feel like the Celtics will give LeBron a pretty good run for his money. Nick writes, Jay still not have his voice back. What kind of grammar is that? So Nick, he was making fun of how I wrote the question. And you're correct, Nick. If you want to sign on as our personal grammar person and correct stuff for us, that would be great. I wrote that fast, and I laughed when I read Nick's comment because that was pretty funny. Martin writes,
Marc types as good as he reads.
Yes. I am. You can see how I've gotten this far in life. Martin writes, is KO on the chopping block in December, considering Willie and Plumlee have so far exceeded expectations? I'm going to say if KO is on this roster in December, I'll be very disappointed. Hot Peter writes,
Kyle has a very cheap contract. It would be really hard to get anything for him. I'd ask around for a second rounder.
Do you think you would just cut him? Eat the contract? I mean, he's
not with 3 years left.
He's literally a huge negative on the roster because you're giving up on a player that could actually contribute to the team to keep him.
It's so cheap, though.
It's not cheap when it hurts your team. His contract will cost you Chase on Randall. And maybe Randall, I don't know if Randall's going to be good, but if you cut Randall and he catches on with another team and ends up being pretty good, you're going to be like, oh, well, Kyle Quinn's contract is so cheap, so that move made sense. It meant sense. Just because you're committed to a player doesn't mean you have to keep him on the roster. Just because you're paying him, it just hurts our team. It hurts our future to have Kyle Quinn on the roster. Kyle Quinn, why are you doing this to America? Stop hurting our country. Please leave. Is that too dramatic?
A little.
Hot Peter writes, can you guys commit in this episode to do certain things if the Knicks hit or fail to hit certain milestones? Like if they win less than 40 games, commit to spending the day they are mathematically eliminated, shirtless in body paint that says Knicks suck. Also, dine at Fraser's restaurant.
No one wants to see me shirtless.
Not even, yeah. The Knicks win 50 games this year. I'll see you at Fraser's restaurant.
Yes.
That would be good. Knicks win 50 games this year. The game after game 50, we will be at Fraser's restaurant, and whoever wants to come meet us at the game. That sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
The Knicks do not make the playoffs. The day they are eliminated, Jay has his. What do you want to do, Jay? Do you want to have your tonsils, like whatever they have left, to go back in for?
Have them put back in.
Yeah, we'll have them put back in. I would say if the Knicks don't make the playoffs, I'd be happy to donate. I'd happy to light one of my Knicks shirts on fire. I'd be happy to do that. I would be happy to. Jay, how about this? If the Knicks don't make the playoffs, you will have Brooklyn Nets tattooed on your forehead.
Sure.
Showing up to work. Jay, I noticed you have. Yep, it's permanent. Yep, I did something stupid, but I just want to let know the world that I'm frustrated about the Knicks. So for the rest of my life, I'll have
decided to ruin my life.
Martin writes, I know it's still early, but which position does the team lack? What two positions are you
Small
most...
forward is pretty weak. I have no faith in Lance, and he's pretty much Melo's only backup.
Kuz is kind of a small forward in his skill-wise. I don't know if he's really a power forward skill-wise. Kuz is not exactly guarding other teams' power forwards. And he kind of plays like a small forward.
I don't know what he is.
I'd say this team's biggest weakness is center. I feel like we have... Is that crazy?
I don't KNWO about that.
KN, I'm going to have to like spell now. I just think at center, you have Noah, who's an injury risk at all times. You have no real backup center that can play defense unless you're putting KP at the backup center. But I get the sense the Knicks aren't going to do that a lot. I feel like we're kind of thin. I feel like we could use a center that can play defense. It would be nice in this roster. I guess Plumlee's the closest thing to that. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of Kyle O'Quinn out there at center, which is going to be painful to watch. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of Hernan Gomez, which is going to be fun to watch, but then not so fun when he can't guard anyone.
We're kind of thin everywhere if you think about it.
Yes, the Knicks have. I mean, I guess when you turn your entire roster over, it's hard to say you're going to be really like have a lot of depth at any position. In theory, they have a pretty good amount of depth at point guard because you have Derrick Rose and Brandon Jennings, which should take up most of the minutes. And then you have Sasha, Jay's favorite player. Jay, if Sasha's your favorite player, don't say anything for 2 seconds. Yep, Sasha's your favorite player. I guess they're kind of thin. I mean, I think they have a lot to build on, but they don't have as much. Do you think if they lose Melo, is the season done? Could they survive Melo being out for like 20 games?
No.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Finished.
Okay. Also, Martin wrote, I like the idea they can do, about the idea of committing to things. They could do an episode where they go through each game of the season and decide if they win the game or not. Okay. Peter wrote, Knicks win championship. Jay and Marc go to Australia to do Brink Knicks documentary to be edited by Jay. I'm down. Knicks win 60 games. Jay and Marc do a live broadcast recording at the bar outside MSG and invite all listeners to come and get wasted and participate in the podcast. Knicks win less than 30 games. Jay and Marc begin a public hunger strike outside MSG. Knicks win less than 25. Presidential candidate Mr. Brink runs for governorship of New York on an education reform platform that would also ban triangles and prohibit the teaching of trigonometry to all New York schools.
I like all of these ideas.
Yeah, Peter, you're a goddamn genius. Martin writes, what do you think of a starting second unit of point guard Jennings, shooting guard Kuz or Holiday, small forward Lance, power forward Willie, and center Plumlee? I feel like that'd be a painful. I feel like they'd score some points, but play no defense. I don't know how Kuz could be your shooting guard. I think in general, at all times, there has to be at least one starter on the court.
All offense, no defense lineup.
You would agree that, like, at all times, for the full 48 minutes, there has to be at least one starter on the court at all times.
Melo or Porzingis at all times.
Or like Noah or Derrick Rose. This is not a. We don't have the Phoenix teams of old. We can have a team A and team B. You have to have integrated lineups. Martin writes, will Melo be held accountable on the defensive end by Hornacek, or will Hornacek just allow Melo to take plays off on defense throughout the game because he is Melo? I don't know if Hornacek's the kind of guy that holds guys accountable on defense. Do we know this yet?
He better. I have faith in Horny.
Yeah, I like Horny too, and his daughter especially. But do we know, is Hornacek the kind of guy that holds people accountable in defense?
I think he did in Phoenix.
Okay, I would love that. I would be surprised if they hold Melo accountable because no one on the Knicks has yet to do that. So I'd be very surprised if it happens. Alex writes, thoughts. And there's an article from Real GM saying LaMarcus Aldridge could be traded by the Spurs this season. And they're...
I find that rumor hard to believe. The Spurs wanted him real bad. Maybe
Right.
there is something to this we don't know.
They were also pretty good last year. Didn't they have, say, the third best record in the NBA and win like 67 games? Am I wrong about this? I feel like there's the chances of them, or maybe second most in the NBA. I know they didn't go as far as they'd like, but I
Yeah,
don't see them.
and Spurs don't seem like a team with a lot of internal drama.
Yeah, sources were telling me, this is from the article, the other day that LaMarcus Aldridge may not even finish the year with the Spurs. That experiment hasn't quite worked out the way they'd hope. I think he's going to be a lot of shifting around. That Nets pick is going to be very, very valuable. The Spurs have the Nets pick.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either. I don't understand what hasn't worked. I mean, I know they didn't win the title last year or go as far as they wanted, but they won a ton of games in the NBA in the regular season. It seemed like it mostly worked out. Is there anything else? I think that is all our
Aldridge
questions.
wasn't the problem.
Yeah, he wasn't the problem. Any other questions from? Let me see if any questions from Facebook I wanted to cover. What do you think about the Bulls trading for Michael Carter Williams? Okay, thanks, Jay.
Weird move.
The Bulls now have like 12 point guards on the roster. Maybe they'll cut Jerry and Grant. If they cut Jerry and Grant, would you give him a roster spot in the Knicks?
Sashaw.
Yeah, or
Saushes.
cut. I would give Jerry and Grant a spot in the roster in a heartbeat. I don't know if the Bulls are actually going to cut him. I don't think they're actually going to cut. Oh, actually, someone sent us a thing saying even if the Bulls cut him, the Knicks are not allowed to re-sign him within a year of trading him because the league rules have changed a little bit. So he's not going to be on the Knicks this season no matter what. If the Bulls cut him next year, I'd love to have him back. But I guess they probably don't have a lot of faith in the fact that they signed Michael Carter Williams. Tells me the Bulls don't have a lot of faith in Michael Carter Williams. Sorry, they don't have a lot of faith in Jerry and Grant, and the Bulls don't care about outside shooting. Anything else? What else did we learn today, Jay?
The email is nyknickspodcast@gmail.com and Twitter is nyknickspodcast.
Okay, good job, dude. And is there a phone number people can call? What's your social, dude?
63167611181.
That's Jay's social. What's your address again?
Or
And if
Skype
people-
the brink of sanity.
And if people want to mail Jay money, how should they mail you money? What address should they use? Do you want to give your
PayPal.
direct? You want to just give your direct deposit?
PayPal.
Okay, so what we learned today, we learned we can do an entire show with Stephen Hawking. We learned that the hard part about doing a show with Stephen Hawking is not knowing when he's actually going to speak.
I hope this wasn't too terrible.
I hope this wasn't too terrible. I enjoyed it. I don't know if the listeners did. Next show, Jay should have his voice back, in theory. The next show should be our NBA fantasy draft show. Any comment about that, Jay?
Still 2 spots left. Email for details.
Yes. And Jay said if
It's
you
on the
win-
22nd.
So this year, the winning team, will get to use Jay's apartment for an entire month. Right, Jay?
What?
Yeah. So whoever wins can come stay in New York City and stay at Jay's apartment for an entire month.
Don't listen to Marc.
Yes. Jay also said his girlfriend will make you dinner every night you're here. You're welcome to use Jay's clothes.
Be quiet.
You're welcome to trash his place. You can do whatever you want.
Stop talking.
You could say hi to his pet cockroaches. You could really
The show is over.
you can use his place any way you want. If Jay was
da-dee-da. Bye, bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Everybody.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
It's a common expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, what if the horse's mouth is filled with useful insurance tools? This is the exact case with the Geico app. Yes, the app is free and therefore a gift horse. However, look inside the app and behold, emergency roadside assistance, digital ID cards, bill pay. Get the Geico app. Look it in the mouth, get amazing services. Thank you.